Coming up on the Best of John Miller.
Hey, look at that. There's your trick shot.
Meet a 98-year-old man who spends his spare time making strikes. Also, did the sun set over moons? A Boise landmark restaurant was once on the market. Find out whatever happened to the home of some of the best shakes in town. Also, meet Ruth Kelly.
It's always a surprise to come out and see what's bloomed up.
She turned her little patch of the world into something very sweet. And Duck. Watch as a group of volunteers tries to help a family of birds across a busy Boise road.
I used to have ducks when I was a kid, and they have their babies, and you just can't let them get squished.
Those stories are all coming up next.
Discover the lighter side of Northwest living as Idaho's News Channel 7 presents The Best of John Miller.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Best of John Miller. I'm David Augusto. Happy you could join me today. Well, you know the old saying, it's never too late. Well, if you don't believe it, maybe you'd better let Leon Thrasher take you bowling on a Tuesday afternoon. That's exactly what John did.
Tuesday afternoon at Adventure Bowling Center is, well, an adventure.
Now, are we all set?
And I'm pretty sure there's some serious gambling going on. You see, as soon as somebody picks up the 1-2-5-8-9 spare, someone comes along and drops the old 1-2-3-4-5-9. Because this isn't some pansy senior league. No, this league is called
39 holding.
39 and holding. You're all holding, huh?
Yeah.
None holding longer than Leon Thrasher. How old are you?
What do you think?
39.
I think he's aiming for 100.
Old Emma wasn't clear if she meant 100 years or 100 pins. Turns out 98-year-old Leon is well on his way to both.
Woo, woo, woo.
So what kind of a guy is he to have around here?
Well, he's pretty quiet.
Yeah, until somebody throws a strike.
Hey, look at that. There's your trick shot.
Oh, it really excites him.
Holy cow. Woo!
He has a sound to it like an owl. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. I don't do it.
Not bad for a guy born 6 years before the Titanic went down.
Yay!
And still gets up for the funky chicken.
He wants us all to do good.
I didn't start till I was 70 years old.
Holy cow.
Yeah, holy cow, right. I throwed a 15-pounder. Now I'm down to 8.
8-pound ball. Of course, when you're Leon's age.
Feels like a 20-pounder.
So maybe Leon's motivation isn't his 98-year-old spirit, his 137 average, or even his simple love for the game. Oh, that one's got a chance. In the end, the savvy observer might realize.
There's not very many men here.
Yeah. You know what? That's probably why he's here. You get to hang out with all the ladies.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's a good guy. Everybody
He's a
here.
great guy. Everybody likes him.
I can see why. Now, did you notice Leon's new white shoes? Believe it or not, someone actually stole his old ones, so the folks there at the bowling alley got together and replaced them. Very nice. Well, with McDonald's and Walmarts popping up all over the country, how do the mom and pop places survive? Well, there's one place in Boise's Hyde Park that's managed to keep in step with the corporate giants, and of course, John found out why.
At first, I wasn't sure I wanted to stop by Jim Reeby's shoe shop. You see, after all these years, Jim is developing an attitude.
No, I have developed an attitude.
So if you want it done while you wait... You'll do it while they wait. Just maybe wait a little longer, huh?
Like I say, do you want that yet this year?
Wingtips, cowboy boots, and hiking shoes. A whole wall full of orders.
Oh, I got enough to keep me going yet today, anyway.
Yeah. Not to mention a few of the world's lost souls, dropped off and never picked up and scattered among the stacks and piles of old leather. I imagine there's newer machinery out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some of it works better. And, it doesn't work another $12,000 better.
You see, 5 generations of shoemaking Reeby's have figured that out. Jim took over when his father passed away 15 years ago.
Oh, I hope I don't work as long as my father did. He worked the last day he was alive. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know.
After all, people will forever need shoes,
All made by hand.
and a lot of them still put their trust in a family name on an old shop on a shady street.
There's some of that good contact cement there.
The kind good old shoes and good old shoemakers are made of. So maybe it's not a bad attitude. Maybe all that glue's just gone to your head after all those years.
Very possible.
Now, Jim figures he still makes about 60 pair of shoes each year, and the Reeby family got into the shoe business, by the way, all the way back in 1863. Just amazing. Well, when you picture a pet sitter, you probably imagine someone who probably comes over, cuts open a can of Alpo, and lets the dog out the back door. But these are not your run-of-the-mill pet sitters we're talking about, although they do run. As John shows us, if you ride the route with Doug and Janice Foote, you have to be fast on your feet.
It's on the road, huh?
So we have done the horses, llamas, we've done boa constrictors, pythons, the cats and dogs are the generally run-of-the-mill type of stuff.
And as soon as they've fed their own, Doug and Janice Foote are off to feed someone else's.
This thing is the biggest wuss you've ever seen.
I suppose in your line of work, that's fine if the pets are wusses, huh?
Oh yeah, that's great. This gets fun.
Hi,
Hi kids. Hi kids.
children.
Come on in. Oh, come on in. Well, you see, the animals are our clients. Only thing the people do is pay the bill.
For which Doug and Janice provide a little food, a little love, a little attention.
They're treated just like their mommy and daddy are home, but they're not. And so a lot of times we just go in there and tell them that we're Uncle Doug and Aunt Janice.
Guys, you want a treat? We'll see you tomorrow.
This is not a hobby. This is a business.
A business you'll find somewhere between Dr. Doolittle and home on the range.
Give me a home where the buffalo roams.
And Doug will fork him some hay.
All they are. And how's all the other children? Love you guys.
You seem to be the talker. You talk to all of them, huh?
I talk to everybody.
Dr. Doolittle, huh?
Yeah, exactly. They talk to me, believe it or not.
Okay, now did you ever imagine you'd be talking to buffalo?
I've always wanted to.
So, anybody think you're a little crazy? One minute you're on the floor playing with the cats, and then the next minute you're forking out hay.
Yeah, fine. You can wear a business suit and a tie if you want to.
Doug and Janice would rather deal in milk bones and cat toys, call them crazy for talking with the animals, but
I'm having a lot more fun than an executive sitting down there in an office dictating to a secretary.
You're beautiful.
Quite the setup there. The Footes have been at the pet sitting business for nearly 12 years now, and they once helped round up 4 loose emus near Middleton, but believe it or not, they've never been bitten or attacked by an animal in all that time. By the way, if you're wondering, rates average about $14 a pop. Coming up later, it's been part of downtown Boise for nearly 50 years. John shows us a landmark cafe's search for a new owner.
We have people that came in with their grandfathers, and they're now bringing in their grandkids.
And next,
Georgia.
artist Simon Combs has Georgia on his mind. While he paints scenes from Idaho, the best of John Miller continues. Welcome back, everyone. Well, back in 2001, John did a little browsing in Boise's Gallery 601. That's an art gallery, and there he found a piece that spans an entire wall, and he discovered the artist is just as colorful as his work.
what does it take to paint like Simon Combs? A few dozen brushes, a giant canvas.
Yeah, it's 4 foot by 12 foot.
A bucket of oil paint, a whole lot of detail, and of course, Ray Charles' greatest hits, volumes 1 and 2. Simon is the only artist you'll ever know who was raised in Africa, moved to England, but came to Idaho to paint North Dakota while listening to Georgia.
Georgia, Georgia.
How come the musical selection?
Well, eclectic. I listen to anything as long as it's music and as long as it's loud.
Perhaps to match the volume of 1,000 thundering hooves.
It's painting depicting the American bison, or buffalo as you call them, as they were in the early 1800s on the Great Plains.
A long way from Kenya, where Simon has captured the African wild in almost photographic detail. He's traveled the world and painted its cats.
So this is a bit of a departure for me. It's American wildlife.
Which is why he stands in a pile of research, books below, sketches overhead, and following his own personal photographs, Simon spares no details.
Let's take this one here. I put a head on him, and I just put a little bit of light on his back like that. And I put a few legs on him, usually 4. And there's a buffalo with legs.
One of about 50,000.
And then you sit down and think, oh God, what have I done? And the enormity of the project begins to become clear.
But worth it, perhaps because with the help of a paintbrush, a giant canvas, and Ray Charles,
I said in Georgia,
Simon Coombs is entering another wild world.
Georgia.
That is amazing. I want that in my living room. I can see it now. That is just gorgeous. Simon and the gallery invited the public to try to name the painting, and the winner chose There Was a Time. It sold for more than $70,000 and will be on display in a Denver gallery starting sometime next year. It took Simon 3 whole months to finish that very impressive painting. Still ahead, we're not going to ask, why did the duck cross the road? But instead, how did she get all these people to help her across?
Mother of 5 understands these things.
And next, some of the best milkshakes in town could be yours for a price.
I believe it's 115.
115,000 bucks.
We're back with more of the best John Miller right after this. Some would say it's the best milkshake you can buy. Back in 2001, it was the best milkshake you can own when Moon's Cafe in Boise went up for sale. The owner was ready to pass the torch and the blender on to the right buyer. John has a story.
When you walk in Moon's Kitchen, there's a sign on the wall. It says on this site in 1897, nothing happened. 104 years later, something's about to. Everybody goes, oh no, Moon's is closing.
Oh no, Noon's is not ever going to close.
No, it's an institution. For 12 years, owner Dee Smith has flipped her share of burgers, stirred her share of shakes, and now...
I just like someone else to come in, carry the torch on, and let me go rest.
The passing of the blender.
The passing of the blender.
Now, what's the asking price for Moon's?
I believe it's 115.
115,000 bucks. For the price, you get the soda fountain and stools, the gift shop out front, every card and wind chime, all the old photographs and memories, the milkshake machine, and most importantly, that oh so creamy and delicious recipe.
That's a secret. You gotta buy the joint, and then I'll tell you.
Not bad for a 46-year-old piece of Boise history.
And we have people that came in with their grandfathers, and they're now bringing in their grandkids.
Freckly-faced little grandkids sucking their strawberry shakes. What's more grandfatherly than that, huh?
That's right. It is a tradition.
Bob Hoffman's been part of it for more than 20 years.
And it's been a lot of fun because the same people come in here all the time. It doesn't make any difference if you're the mayor or the governor or myself.
None of them want to see anything happen to a site like Moon's. Don't you let them turn this into a furniture store.
No, I hope not. I think this place should always be here, and it can be if somebody wants to carry on the torch.
Here's what is still to come on the Best of John Miller. Learn how one woman made a patch of weeds bloom into something very special.
I lost my husband in '84. If I hadn't had my irises, I don't know what I'd have done.
And next, getting a hand across the street. We show you how citizens turned into heroes for one mama duck and her babies. We're back after this. Welcome back. During the spring in Boise, mother ducks everywhere get ready for that mad dash to the water. And you know what happens when little ducks hatch? People call John Miller.
One mother, 14 babies, 2 incredibly busy intersections, 1 cement mixer, an army of volunteers, death, doom, and peril.
Just hope everybody slows down, really.
You see, baby ducks don't much understand what this means, although they seem to learn quickly what this means. Watch it.
She did real well. They had a little trouble getting back up the curb on the other side.
But they seem to be halfway home, although experts told volunteers this is one situation where nature, and sometimes traffic, takes its own course.
No. I used to have ducks when I was a kid, and they have their babies, and you just can't let them get squished.
Which is why the cardboard people risked life and limb and entire lunch hours while the promised land lay right up ahead. How's it going, cardboard lady?
Oh, fine. Mother of 5 understands these things.
Look out!
They were wonderful. People stopped all over.
So that mom and babies, every last one, could run full steam ahead to the end of this story. Tragedy narrowly averted.
Oh, there they go. They did good.
That's it.
Oh, they're so cute. John tells us the volunteers were happy to keep her safe from the midday traffic, which is a good thing. Well, how much do you love your dog? Odds are not as much as the folks John met at the Western Idaho Fairgrounds one weekend. More than 130 breeds of dog showed up with their owners for American Kennel Club National Competition. And here's a peek at the pooches.
You know, you can tell you're at the dog show before you even leave the parking lot, because there between the dog vans and canine taxis are the chow-chows and whoop-ups. Some dogs are bigger than their owners, huh?
Yeah.
Others are not. And you know what they say about some dogs resembling their owners?
It goes both ways. His name's Doers.
Doers.
Yeah, like the Scotch.
A Clumber Spaniel, one of hundreds of dogs to make the rounds at the dog show. Now here's the other question I was going to ask. I've always seen these things on TV. How come they have to dress so nicely? I mean, wouldn't running shoes be more appropriate for this kind of thing? You got to do a lot of running in this.
The thought behind it is if you got a nice dog, you want to look nice with it. So you try to dress like you were going to church on Sunday.
Right. But you're going to a dog show on Thursday.
Right.
So once you get the maximum foof, he's ready to go, huh?
Yes.
Dogs named
Vinny
and Butchie Boy. Every kind, every color. Darn near close to 101 Dalmatians inspected from end to end. She checks under the hood, everything.
Everything,
huh? Yeah.
everything. She wants to make sure all the parts are there and that how they fit together.
Sends them this way and that way. By now, Doers, the Clumber Spaniel, was doing just fine. Him coming back there at the end, a little shake there.
Yeah,
You don't want that, do you?
You try to avoid it.
But wouldn't you know, Doers, the dog named after Scotch whiskey, was never really on the rocks because... How many of them are there here today?
One.
So, Doers, you're going on with the blue ribbon, buddy. Yeah. Say what you will about rare breeds, you'll find a whole lot of them at the dog show.
Still ahead on the Best of John Miller.
I just thank God I'm still able to enjoy him at 78.
Meet a woman who turned a patch of sagebrush into her own private oasis. Welcome back, everyone, as we wrap up this edition of the Best of John Miller. Happy you could be with us. And as we wrap it up tonight, a very colorful story to share with you. 25 years ago, Ruth Kelly's place was 5 acres of sagebrush, and then she planted a few iris, and excuse the bad pun, but they sort of grew on her. As John shows us, they're a sea of color swallowing up her place.
Every morning, way up on this hill, you can almost make out the sound of Ruth Kelly's nose.
Oh, that one's good. It's always a surprise to come out and see what's bloomed out this morning. Well, it started out as a hobby. It got away from me.
I was going to say. We got the whole hillside here. We got the back patch out there. That used to be what?
A log yard.
Okay, a log yard. Now we got the little patch right there. And then?
My whole yard's practically taken up in irises.
Tens of thousands, every kind, every color, completely filling the senses of Ruth Kelly. So what does an iris represent to you?
Oh, peace of mind. And I lost my husband in '84. If I hadn't had my irises, I don't know what I'd have done. First 2 years I watered them with tears, I think. Because we'd been married almost 50 years. There's a pretty one. I just thank God I'm still able to enjoy them at 78.
Lots to enjoy.
I do. I love every one of them. And I feel like I've been greatly blessed because they've done so good out here on this hill.
Returning every year, each as though right at home with Ruth Kelly.
Well, I think the feeling is mutual. One thing about it, they don't never talk back to you.
They're gonna take you right over.
I don't care.
Perhaps because the world looks a lot brighter from Ruth Kelly's perspective. And one thing's for sure.
It smells beautiful.
Wow, that is sweet. I can smell it from here. Just gorgeous. Wish my yard looked like that. Good job, Ruth. And believe it or not, Ruth told John she was actually planning to expand her creation there and maybe build another terrace on that hill. I don't think you can have too many of those. All right, that'll do it for this edition of The Best of John Miller. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you next time as we continue our look at the wild and crazy world that is The Best of John Miller. See you next time.
Cue up the banjo music.
Idaho!
How's it going?
She is cheap. Oh, man.
Revenge is sweet.
I'd say the odds of that happening with me are pretty much zero. Okay, 1% chance. Oh, jeez.
You gotta be a little bit brave about it, man.
What does your wife think about this thing?
I think she likes it.
Walking on the moon is easier, I'll tell you that.
You're killing me.
You get to be like the Eddie Van Halen of pumpkin cannons, huh? Did you ever think maybe I should have made my chest set a little bit lighter?
No, I didn't.
How old are you?
I'm 74.
The oldest guy.